It's well documented, I quit and I came back stronger, a trail Pac was headed. You spend your time trying to convince them that you're not pathetic. It's top genetics over rocks and relics. I drop aesthetics over Nicholas Soul samples, he chops and edits. Do not forget it, stop the credits, I'ma make a movie. What I develop, stop and relish is the greatest.
What is up, everyone? This is Octoberz here with another episode of Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue, my podcast. Also have a blog under the same name. So today's it's episode 4, season 2. I have a special guest with me who I'll introduce. His name is Henrik. He's from Lund, Sweden. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. He's a horror artist. He does sculptures and stuff like that. So in a little bit, I'll show you one of the pieces I actually bought from him. So I met him through social media on Instagram. Very dope, like I said, artist. So without further ado, let me get him here on the screen. Hey, Henrik.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm just fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me. So I had reached out to you because we started following each other on social media. And I was like fascinated and like really interested by the art that you do, which is really like you take a lot of your time. It's very intricate. So I wanted to interview you so people that are not in Sweden, because you have followers from all over the place, I'm pretty sure. But people that listen to my podcast, introduce you a little bit so they can, look you up and maybe might be interested in buying a piece of yours. And just, shout out your business and everything. Because especially right now with COVID, it's kind of a difficult time for people. So wanted to do that and then get to know you a little bit. So if you can just introduce yourself a little bit, like your name, where you're from, those who might not know who you are, how did you got started and all.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, as you said, my name is Henrik and I'm from Sweden, Lund. And I've been doing this sculpting monsters and horror themed stuffs for about 5 years now. Okay. It came from being a cake designer, doing horror cakes, and when that didn't work out, I tried clay and I was stuck immediately. And so far I think I've sculpted about 250-300 pieces. Oh, wow. And they are scattered pretty much all over the world, from Russia to Hawaii.
Wow.
Lots of them. I'd say 90% end up in the US.
Yeah.
You guys over there are very, very fond of your cultural heritage when it comes to horror movies, because most of them are from the movies America. You do. And I do this as a hobby. This is my hobby, my therapy, my relaxation, my zen place to go to relax and have a good time and just do what makes me feel good. And that's pretty much it. It started as a hobby, and through the social media it grew very, very fast, and that's really cool. I'm still in awe of it because it happened so fast, and people are really cool and appreciate it very much. So that's pretty much cool. A short story.
So you come from like kind of like a chef, like baker background, right? Because you said you would do cakes.
I am a chef originally, and I worked as a baker, and now I work as a chef, baker, pastry chef, whatever. You do all the chores in the kitchen these days. So that's what I do for a living, and then I got the monsters as my big hobby.
That's pretty cool. How did you transition though? Like, was it similar to like like doing the cakes and stuff like that to sculpting, or how did you pick up?
I was more and more fascinated with working with a sugar paste and fondant and creating crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The cake itself, of course, they must taste good. They can not just be something to look at. You got to have something good inside them.
Yeah.
But I was more and more fascinated with just sculpting. And in the end, I was just playing around with sugar paste and then doing stupid, silly things. And this is much more fun because this stays. A cake you do, and then everybody eats it, and then it's gone. Maybe a picture or two of it. But these guys, they stay forever, I hope, for a while.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because I was like, that's a pretty interesting like transition from like baking and now to like sculpting, because obviously, like I said, your pieces have a lot of like detail to them. So obviously you have to take your time and all that. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. that's one of the reasons I do it, because I can just get lost in it, you know.
Yeah.
I can just work on a piece forever. I have to get to a point where I say, nah, enough now. I gotta let go of it. It's done, because some pieces you can work forever on and not being finished.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Yeah.
And what's like your favorite piece that you've done?
Well, that's a tough one. I do have one favorite, a tiny one. Well, I like them all. I have a rule. I never sell anything I'm not happy with.
Yeah.
I got a couple that I look at and I cringe here at
Yeah.
home. They're gonna stay in the corner forever. I'm never gonna sell them because
Yeah.
they look like crap. But I did a Nosferatu, the Klaus Kinski
Oh, that's pretty
version,
cool.
and I was surprised myself how I managed to capture not just Nosferatu but Klaus Kinski himself, because he has such had such an amazing face.
Yeah.
And that one I was surprised myself when I'd done. But of course, I do like Creature from the Black Lagoon I've done, and The Angel of Death from.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I like that one. That's one of my favorite modern monsters, I must say. It's such a cool design.
Yeah.
But there's so many, and it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I do like. I have two guys I haven't sold. One is full size Angel of Death, and one is a huge alien,
Yeah.
H.R. Giger inspired piece that
Oh wow.
that I kept those two. And
Yeah.
I like the alien and the alien stuff too.
Yeah.
They're really fun to me. They take a lot of time though.
And what's like on your to-do list, like that you haven't done, like a horror figure?
Oh, there are some that I've tried, and I get really mad at myself that I can't get it together and it doesn't look right, so I abandon it.
Yeah.
And I do want to make all of the killer clowns.
Oh, that'd be
from
awesome.
outer space. Yeah.
Yeah.
and when I look at the pictures, and I get a lot of reference pictures from the internet and stuff, and I think this can't be so hard. And then you start, but often when it maybe it doesn't look so complicated, it can be really, really tough. And then there are some guys I have avoided because I look at the design and think, damn, nah, I'm not going to pull this off. And then I tried, and wow, it was pretty simple. So, but the killer clowns, absolutely, they are on my list. More stuff from Guillermo del Toro's movies, especially Pan's Labyrinth, and a couple of other creatures from the Hellboy movies.
Yeah.
Those are some, and I have some ideas stewing in the back of my head, and that I'm still trying to get together. I never try to plan too much. I just want to sit down with a piece of clay and get started, and don't have a clue what the hell is this going to be. That's the beauty of it. I like that. You roam free. You just let your mind go and create stuff, and that I like very much.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of like maybe creating your own personal, like, your own horror figure, like that's never been created, just like your own?
I've tried, and often I'm not very happy with it. I've done some original stuff, mostly some zombies, some spiders, some devils, a bit of that. But I'm never really pleased with them in the same way as it is a bit of a challenge to capture a specific character,
yeah,
and make it look like it. And that's what I want to accomplish, to make my version of it, of course, because I don't want to make perfect copies of it, because I can never do that. Then I should start printing with a 3D printers or something like that, and that would take the fun out of it. I need the hands-on working with it, and yeah, there are a whole lot I still have to make, and so on. I got lost a little bit. I'm a little bit tired.
No way.
Can understand that I'm confusing at times.
Yeah, no worries. And have you sold any like pieces like to like horror actors or any like directors or stuff like that, like bigger named artists like that?
No, not yet. I had some of them approach me, and one guy who's always really cool is oh my God, I forget his name. Is it Doug Jones, who is a monster actor who's done a lot of. Nobody rarely see him without makeup, but I think it was the guy who was inside the Angel of Death suit, and he had commented on my stuff and said he liked it, as well as his name goes away again. The guy who played Twisted the Clown in American Horror Story, he has commented and liked the stuff, and Rick awesome. Baker commented on some of my American Werewolf, and that was huge because that guy is.
He's like one of my favorite.
He's the biggest. I love him. I love the way he thinks, and I love the things he creates, and so that was huge. And I like when your heroes take the time to actually comment and throw in a nice word. That's really cool. It's nothing I'm not making my stuff because of that, but it's a cool perk if it happens, and I appreciate that, and that's cool. I like it when artists can be cool and nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And what got you like into like the horror genre? Like what made you fall in love with that genre specifically for your art?
That's a tough one. I've been thinking about that a lot, about trying to pinpoint that specific moment. And I cannot remember not being obsessed with monsters and horror for my 51-year long life. I was petrified of the dark, and I was scared of the dark when I was a kid. And my dad was the son of a gun when it came to telling ghost stories, and scared me and my siblings all the time. I think it came a little bit from that. And my mom, she put books, Edgar Allan Poe books in my hands, and here comes a cat. Go away. And it was much that, and I was always very fascinated with ghost stories and monsters and stuff like that. We do not have that tradition with horror movies as you guys in the US have. Quite the contrary, because we've been pretty snobbish over here with Ingmar Bergman and stuff like that. And nobody want to do horror because it's not what do you say, high culture, something artsy. And, but recent years we had a couple of good ones, but I don't know if I should pinpoint the movie. I should say Creature from the Black Lagoon. Absolutely, watching that on the black and white TV when you were a kid. That one, and Jack Clayton's The Innocents with Deborah Carr, which still is one of my favorite ghost movies.
Okay.
So I say it has always been there, and it's just evolved through the years, and it keeps evolving. That's a cool way.
And with those movies that you mentioned, like what would be like if you can list like a top 5 like favorite horror movies?
Top 5 favorite horror movies. Alien is always on the first one, and that's because that's a movie where I get goosebumps every time I see it. I'm always blown away by that movie, both as a horror movie, just as a piece of art. I think it is.
Yes.
With so much cool people involved with it, and I love the actors, I love the story and everything. And then there's The Thing.
I love that movie
because I love it, and I every time I see that movie, I look at the effects and think of what a 21-year-old robotine making those effects. They're still unmatched, and I think that's the same thing there. That's like a surreal piece of art. And that one I like. Jaws I always return to as well, both in my art, and I watch it a couple of times a year because much because if it's a good horror movie, but also because the same thing as with Alien, it has such great actors in it, and it's just a joy to watch those people interact. The Exorcist is one I do like a lot. What should I say? What can I?
Yeah, one left.
There's so many movies in the 80s that
Yeah,
were so good with
I
so
know.
many fun effects and people effects people working with them, and it was so beautiful back in those days, and I like this the practical effects
Yeah,
and all
same here.
that. So the Evil Dead movies I love, and I don't mind a little bit of fun with it and a bit of humor and comedy
Yeah,
in it, and but I would say it is pretty much those
those movies.
very mainstream movies when you think about it, because they had a great
Yeah,
success, and but still they haven't been matched yet, and people have tried. People have tried
yeah,
to make Jaws. People have tried to make The Alien. People have tried to make The Exorcist, and they failed
yeah,
because these guys who made those movies, and the Thing, of course, they're geniuses. You can't match that because it's so much quality all the way through,
yeah.
and I
Like
like
that
it.
that era, like it's late 70s, 80s, and
Yeah,
stuff like that had like the
absolutely.
best
And
like
there's so
the
many good
golden era.
actors and actresses,
Yeah,
and directors as well.
exactly.
Um, Outside of the horror genre, it's very much other movies by William Friedkin. One of my absolute favorite movies is Sorcerer, his remake of Wages of Fear, which I think is one of the most suspenseful movies ever made, and it's so good. So I can recommend that one.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen it. I
Not
have to check it
I
out.
recommend it very much. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And who would you say like was like your favorite like horror villain or icon that you always grew
Icon.
up liking?
Mm, that's a tough one because if I'm going to be honest with you, we much of those horror movies that you guys could watch in the movie theaters
Hmm.
in the 80s and the 70s, and then on home video, we had a very strong censorship here in Sweden that lasted way into the early 90s.
Hmm.
So a lot of movies were banned here, or they were cut to pieces so you couldn't even understand them.
Yeah.
So, but those that made it through horror, the villains I like,
Or monsters.
I do like Myers. I do like
Yeah.
Jason,
Yeah.
especially Jason, Kane Hodder, Jason, because he's so
Yeah.
goddamn brutal.
He's my favorite too. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that very much. And he was, I think, Michael Myers got his thing going. He's like this suave, the same mask, it ages, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's not as good. But Jason, you have an sort of development in his, in his looks.
His appearance, right?
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I like that. There's something happening. Freddy Krueger, of course. How can I forget him? He is
Yeah.
like he has meant so much to me. Yeah, he's the number one because
Yeah.
I saw Nightmare on Elm Street in a film club because it didn't hit the cinemas, and
Hmm.
I was it 84 or something like
Yeah.
that? I was
84.
14 or something, and it was
Yeah.
so goddamn creepy, and it was so different from everything you've seen before.
Yeah.
And I really like the first one. I like them all, more or
Yeah.
less, but the first one stands out. That's very special for me. So
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, of course. He also a very funny guy to sculpt and recreate, I think.
Yeah. You have a cool pieces that you posted recently, and even Jason, I saw you just posted one this morning from the
Yeah,
New Blood, which I was like,
yeah. I
I was gonna ask you on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just started on a new one, a new
Yeah.
Jason, with New Blood, and he will definitely come with a removable hockey mask. I've done that guy before.
Oh, nice. I'll
Many
be
people
interested in
try
that
to,
one.
yeah, I will keep that in mind. Um, I I often return to same objects, not
But like
because I'm
redo it in a
lazy.
different way.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a new angle, a new way to do it, and especially my sharks and jaws. I think there's always something funny you can do with it. So.
That's cool. And have you ever thought about like doing like the like a final girl versus like the actual monster, and like if it would if you would pick any like final girl or scream queen, who would be your favorite?
My favorite would be Jamie Lee Curtis. I think.
Okay.
Well, Heather Langenkamp, of course, as well. I like them. I like them all. My favorite final girl of all time would be I don't know what's her name in A Spit on Your Grave, the original.
Oh
one.
yeah.
That's a badass
That's
movie.
crazy.
I like I like that girl. She doesn't mess around. I mean, lots of us guys have a problem with that movie, that tub scene, I think. But there are lots of cool final girls, and I think it's taken more seriously today, and it has a little bit more. Yeah, things have happened in the horror business, and I like that. It's lots of changes and fresh new angles going on. But of course, Jamie Lee and Heather Langenkamp and that chick from Spit in the Grave.
Yeah, okay. That's tried.
Cool. I want to make a cool carapace, but I haven't found out how to do it yet. But a nice carapace with a prom and blood and stuff. So that's one of those ideas I have in the back of my head.
Cool. Is there any sorry to interrupt you, but is there any like Swedish like horror films? Like you said, obviously they don't really have like a big horror culture like we do. But
no, we don't.
Is there any like favorite one that you stands out? Because at least for me, when I think about like Sweden horror, I don't know if you've seen this one, but it's like Let the Right One In. They did like American remake. That was a good one.
The only one we
right.
No, it's pretty sad. We've had we had horror movies, but not in. No, I think that's
nothing big.
Nothing big, and I think Let the Right One In is crazy good.
Yeah.
Not just because it's a horror movie, but it is for a Swedish guy who grew up in the 70s. There are so much things that reminds me of that era, and they're so well done. It looks like some part of Russia, which wasn't very far from the truth, and everything was gray and very depressing. And I got sort of like flashbacks, and that go into a fetal position watching that movie, much because I thought the theme with bullying hit me pretty hard. That's so nasty, and it's very well made in the movie. But I think it's a really beautiful movie, and it's a cool movie, and it's definitely my favorite. We have had some others, The Visitors, which was a very crappy ghost movie. We had one, The Unknown, De Okända, which was a total rip-off of the Blair Witch Project, and it wasn't very good at all. And so there has been Swedish horror movies, of course, but not to the same extent as it's been in
I mean, the only one I can think of like big, but it's not. I wouldn't consider it Sweden. It's just it takes from the Swedish culture. It would be Midsummer.
Midsummer. Yeah.
Right.
I'm having big problems with that. Excuse me, I'm just gonna let out the dog here. The dog here too. Wait a minute.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're taking a little quick break here. Again, follow Henrik Honk on IG.
I'm so sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, Midsummer. Yeah, first of all, let me say I really liked Hereditary. I thought that was something that felt me with unease, and it was creepy, and you didn't know where you had that movie. I really liked that. I couldn't really get into Midsummer because it became so. So, from my point of view, we celebrate Midsummer here. Every year is one of the biggest holidays in Sweden, and we do not eat meat pies with pubes in them. We eat fermented. We eat much worse stuff. We eat fermented herring, surströmming, that smells so bad you can't believe it. We eat and we drink and we get into fight with relatives. That's pretty much Midsummer.
What is it that you guys celebrating exactly for the holiday?
It is the shortest night of the year.
Okay.
Where it supposedly is a lot of what do you say, ghosts and stuff around.
Crazy, like supernatural stuff.
Yeah, supernatural stuff, and are around because of that. And I think there's a lot from Germany in it as well, and as well as Swedish old traditions. Many of those traditions we have were stuff we did here before we were Christianized, and it got mixed up with Christianity, and Midsummer is one of them. It's we have a big it's called a Midsummer Stång. It's like a big pole which we dress with. I think it's in the movie.
Yeah,
we dress with flowers, and there's rings hanging in it. It's like a fertility symbol because it looks very much like a big dong.
Yeah,
we dance around those and jump around and pretend to be little frogs, and it's really stupid. And from people who haven't never seen it, it's very exotic, but it's not as it is in Midsummer. Yeah. My problem with that movie was that I found the Swedish actors weren't very good.
Yeah.
And every time there's a Swedish person in a movie, his name is Sven. Hello, Sven. And I have a problem with that because there's not many people called Sven today in Sweden. It's like, hello, my name is Inga, and stuff like that, you know. So it became, and it's not even filmed in Sweden. I think it's filmed in Bulgaria or something. So it doesn't look right in the nature and the trees, and I don't know, but I'm gonna rewatch it and try to be a little bit more open-minded.
Yeah, that's good to know. Though I didn't see that perspective because you're from Sweden, so obviously you know your culture and like how your area looks.
So a lot of people talk about, oh, I was enchanted and it's blah blah blah. And I respect that.
Yeah,
I'm happy we don't feel the same about everything, but I couldn't really grasp it. I just want to jump in and say, no, you gotta look at this is how we celebrate Midsummer. We have knife fights with our uncles and stuff like that. But I can. It's fun that they made a movie about it. So I will definitely rewatch it. And
I wasn't like a big fan either. I love Hereditary, so I was kind of like putting it on a pedestal. Like when I heard that there was another one coming, similar. So Hereditary is still the best one compared to the two.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's really.
But again, I might have. I was pretty much already made up my mind when I was going to see the movie. This is going to suck because blah blah blah. But so I went, and that's not a good way to
start
movie. No. But I would give it another try. Sure.
Yeah. And as far as like you were talking about like supernatural and stuff like that associated with like Midsummer. Do you believe in like the supernatural, and have you ever had any like supernatural experiences or anything like that?
Unfortunately, no, I haven't. No. You've been spooked and stuff like that, but I do not have any. I'd be a hypocrite to say I haven't, that I believe in blah blah blah. But no, and I think that's bad. It would be so great to have something like that. I have an aunt who is sort of a little bit of a witchy old lady, and she has certain signs she sees and stuff like that, and that she's like predicting stuff. Like when she opens a drawer in the kitchen, there's a knife that is lying on its back with the edge up. That means that someone's gonna have a baby. And so far that has happened for me and my siblings every time there's been
that's crazy.
new kid in the family, and that's still like 8-9 kids so far. So, and that knife has been right spot each time. And I think it's fascinating, and I try to have an open mind. But it's the same thing as with UFOs. I love to read about it. I like to hear about it. I'm not convinced, but I would love to be. I would love to be convinced. So please hit me.
What would you say has been your greatest like accomplishment as like a creative in like the horror community?
I can start with telling you with the precise opposite. My worst experience in the horror community was when I was still making cakes, and I opened my email. I hadn't opened it in days, and there was an email, from a convention, horror convention in the next city, and say, hey, we're going to have Robert Englund as a guest on our radio channel. And when he's in town, and we would like you to make a Freddy Krueger cake and come to us on the show live and surprise Robert Englund with a cake.
Yeah.
And sit down and have a talk and eat cake with Robert Englund. I was like, wow, man, this is huge. And the date was a week earlier.
Oh my God.
I totally missed that. I still wake up screaming about that so much. Yeah. My biggest, I don't know if it's an accomplishment, but the biggest thing for me was meeting George A. Romero, I think.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
At a film festival here in the city. He was so cool, and he did a screening of A Night of the Living Dead, and he did a running commentary from the back, and then after that he did a 2-hour-long Q&A, and after that he did a meet and greet with every soul in the audience, and he never got tired, and he shook hands and photo ops with everybody. That was so big, and that was so cool, and I really treasure that memory.
Yeah.
In the creative way, I don't know. I hope that's still ahead of me.
Yeah.
I have done, I don't know if that's ready yet, but I did the full size of the barrel zombie, the Tarman zombie from Return of the Living Dead. That face, the zombie face and his hands.
Yeah.
That was going to some crazy, in a good way, millionaire in Belgium who was redecorating his whole home. So he's going to have one door was going to be the barrel from Return of the Living Dead, and that zombie head was going to be in there. Oh, wow. I don't think he has finished yet, because he was, when I looked at his work so far, he was still building Indiana Jones garden. Like importing bamboo from Japan and building fountains and stuff. He was, I love that kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And, I love people who have much money and do something fun.
I would do that if I was rich too.
me too. I would. Oh God forbid. Yeah. But so that will be really cool when it's done. But other than that, my biggest accomplishment is getting the feedback from people when you sell stuff, and people are so cool, and it's so fun, because it's very often there's a discourse with about why this piece is so special for them. There might be some memories of people who are no longer with them, and parents and stuff, and watching this movie, and now I got this piece to remind me, and things like that. And that, I think, is really, really huge, and people are so grateful and cool, and I feel very blessed to that. And that is my biggest accomplishment. Every time piece reaches its new owner and it's in one piece, and they are happy with it, then I feel like I accomplished what I want to accomplish. I'm a happy boy right there.
Have you, because I know obviously with the pandemic it's kind of hard now with like the conventions, like the horror conventions and stuff like that, but do you ever plan of like maybe or have you ever been in a convention selling any of your pieces or anything like that?
I have been on I have been on some smaller ones, not just horror, but people who did craft stuff in general. And I was sitting there with my monsters, and there was a guy who made like sweeps, bro, what do you call it? You sweep the floor with a brush. What do you call it? Yeah, like he did those old timey stuff that like you did it for 200 years ago, and there was a pottery maker there and some artists, and that was really fun, because you met people you never met before in your life.
Yeah.
But, other than that, every time there's I did one ghost convention in Malmö, in the next city, and that was really cool, and I sold out pretty quick and could pack up and could only be there one day. And then every time there's been a convention, I got all my stuff is already out of the shop and on its way to new homes. So I would show up with 2-3 pieces, and that would be pretty pathetic to sit there and I got this and this. Yeah, okay, thank you, goodbye. Because you want to have lots of stuff when you're going to do that, I think.
Yeah. And What kind of like words of encouragement or advice would you give someone who's trying to enter like the horror art community to get started?
Um, do it for yourself. Do it for you, feeling good about it. Um, don't let anyone tell you that it sucks or anything like that. People can be really harsh online.
Yeah.
Don't care about that. Come to us in our horror family instead, because we will encourage you. We will help you. We will be your big brothers and big sisters to help you out, because I think just go for it. If you want to paint, if you want to sculpt, get yourself some stuff. Don't spend extremely lots of money on it.
Yeah.
Just get some startup stuff and start going. And my first thing I do when I'm starting a new project is always finding a lots of reference pictures and looking for those behind the scenes pictures, because see so much, learn so much about anatomy and stuff about that. And but I would say, don't be afraid. And first of all, do it for yourself. If you don't feel comfortable with showing it, don't show it. But do it. God damn it, do it. Don't do it, because there's such a big reward in being creative. I think there's such a
I agree.
Such much beauty to find there. And I can only say, get going, do it. That can apply to everything creative. I think pretty much everything in life. And don't sit around and wait and talk about it. Get started.
Exactly.
If not for anyone else, do it for yourself.
Exactly. That's great advice. And where do you see yourself like in the next 5 years? Because I know this is not like technically your career. It's like a hobby that you love to do. Yeah. But what would you like to do with your brand?
I just want to keep going with how I do it now. I had to sort of take a break a while back, because there were so many people asking for commissions and orders and stuff like that, and I felt that I was getting lost in my original idea.
Yeah.
And that one is that I don't know what I do. It was getting stressful, because I started up on a thing, and then I showed the first steps on them. I want to buy that one, and yeah, sure. And then I knew, damn, I must complete this guy, even though I not feel like it, because to be honest, out of each piece that I complete, I start up on maybe 10 or 12, because I come a bit into it and I feel like, no, I'm not feeling this guy right now. Start something else. And so I had to go with that. I do not. I'm just doing this for myself, and I'm doing this because I feel good, and because I'm whimsical, and my mind can be so full of ideas, and I want to get that out. And I just hope I will keep going doing this in the next 5 years as well, and for the rest of my life, because it is so important to me to do, and it gives me so much in return, and the social interaction with people, and it's fantastic. So I just hope it keeps on moving.
Forward. I remember seeing your post about like feeling overwhelmed and not taking like more orders and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool that you gave yourself like you realize like your point, like your pressure point, and not making it, like you said, forced, because as creatives I think that's when it doesn't come out as authentic and genuine, and it's like you don't want to lose your love for it.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. And also that this is to be honest, this has been something that has helped me through some really tough times, being creative and having this one. And so it's really, really important to me on a personal level, for my well-being. And I don't want to throw that away and make something like that become a sort of a chore.
Exactly.
To. So I'm happy I took that decision, and people have been very supportive about that, and that's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then last question I always ask this at the end is, what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind, either on a personal level or on a creative level?
Oh, I want to. I think about that sometimes. When the time has come for me to level up or whatever
Yeah.
you do, go to the other side or to the light.
Yeah.
I can do that and safely know that my little monsters are all over the world,
Yeah.
hanging on a wall and being looked upon every day. And I think that's a pretty cool legacy to leave behind. That it's something I created with my bare hands. Will still be around long after I'm gone, and I think that's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's kind of cool because you never know. Like these pieces get passed on probably through family too, through generations. For all you know,
Absolutely. That's sweet. That's I like that idea. Yeah. And here you get this one. What the hell is that? I'm like hey, you got $50,000. I get this monster, but I dig that. I dig that thought that those guys will stick around for a long while. I hope.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciated you obviously taking the time to sit with me here. Obviously, you're on the other side of the world, but it's pretty cool that like social media can bring people together like that, like creatives. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the art that you do. And actually, before I get off the screen, I'll go ahead and show the piece that I bought for you, so people can kind of see one of your pieces.
Sure.
All right. So this is the Angel of Death right here. So it's like the heart, and it's just like really, like I said, like even I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit, but even the detail on it is just like really amazing. I still have to find a spot to.
I get goosebumps knowing that this piece has traveled all the way over to you, and I think that is still surreal for me to see it in place. And I love when people send pictures of the stuff they receive. But
my goal is like hopefully maybe I'll have like my goal is to meet Guillermo del Toro because I'm Mexican, so for him he's like one of my heroes. So for him to actually sign it, that would be like my goal. But we'll see.
Ooh, that would be really cool. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he seems to be. He's got the heart in the right place.
Exactly.
I would like to say thank you so very much for having me. It was really fun talking to you, and I'm honored to be chosen for this one. So thank you very much, and
you're welcome.
And thank you all of you listening and supporting.
Alrighty, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, it was a great conversation, and I'm glad to give you a little platform to promote your business that you do as
I really
for the love of the craft.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty, man. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
And have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in to Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue. Again, appreciate you guys. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at 7 Octoberz with a Z. This episode will be uploaded on Monday, November 16th, I believe. Yes, November 16th. And you can catch it on YouTube and my Instagram at 7 Octoberz. Thank you guys and have a great weekend or have a great week if you're watching this on Monday.